a lot of learning you have to do. So you have to ask yourself, is this the kind of environment I want to be in? So it was then that I applied for the Schlumberger Foundation Faculty for the Future. So this supports women in STEM from all across the world to study at top universities abroad, return to their home country, and to support the teaching and research in STEM courses. So I remember there was a day I was just there, and my supervisor, my master supervisor, sent me this thing. Okay, there's this student. He was at the University of Glasgow in the UK. So he said, okay, there's this funding I want you to look into if you really want to study. Because I told him I wanted to do a PhD with him, but he didn't have funding. So I applied. It took a lot of dedication. 1 week writing essays about my teaching experiences, my research proposal, how I was promoting women and girls in mathematics in my community. So I remember I applied for it. It was in March the following year. I was waiting for the results. You know, when that email comes, there's a way you read it, right? You scroll your notification and you see the first few lines, whether it's a positive one or not, right? So I was in the library and I scrolled and I realized, okay, it sounded positive, and wow, I shed tears that day because for me, I really wanted to study in the UK. It's been a lifelong dream. And me getting that much funding, getting someone to sponsor you 4 years to study your PhD is no easy. Yes, exactly. So I went to the University of Glasgow for my PhD. That was in 2015, and in June 2019, I graduated with a PhD in mathematics. So back to my job. So for me, I didn't have any female mathematician I looked up to, right? And there are a lot of young girls like me that, even though we are good at maths from growing up, we don't see any mentors, and which means that we choose to do other subjects. So this girls in maths program, which I manage at AIMS, is to nurture girls. So right from secondary school, if they know that, okay, if I study maths, I can become a data scientist, I can become an actuary, I can become even a sound engineer, I can become an astronomer, right? Then they realize, okay, yes, even though the calculus looks very abstract, there's something in it for a data analyst, there's something in it for an astronomer, and that's so we have it's a 9-month program, mainly online. Every month we have a speaker who will talk about their research in 2 hours. So we've had sessions on climate science, on financial mathematics, on theoretical physics, for the girls, for the girls in the program. So every month we have a speaker come in. And when they're on vacation from school, they come to our campus. So our campus is a 24-hour learning environment, and they come to take mini courses. So after the 9 months, you realize, okay, I like this. So at the end of the 9 months, that's when you come to our center and you specialize in these fields for 3 weeks, and at the end they graduate with a certificate. They are also assigned mentors. We believe that mentoring is it's a very key component of their growth process. So once you come into the program, you are assigned a mentor. They are outstanding women in STEM from all across the world, and every quarter they meet the students online to have career guidance with them. They are given laptops and internet devices, so they are able to connect from their schools. So that's something I work on. When we started, we had 35 girls from 11 regions of Ghana in the program. They graduated in November 2021. And that year, applications were about 120 from across Ghana. But last year, when we opened the second call, it went up to about 600 applications from 15 regions of Ghana. And for me, it's encouraging to see that you have young girls from everywhere in Ghana who are passionate, about mathematics. Unfortunately, due to funding challenges, we could only select 40 girls. So we currently have 40 girls from 15 regions of Ghana, 37 secondary schools. And they started in April last year, and looking at them, some come into the program, they haven't done any computer program, and they haven't even used a computer before. But because the program is mainly online, we have to train them on how to use a computer, how to send emails, how to join a Zoom class, because that's what we use for online master classes. Every month they have to submit problem of the month online. So for me, it's more of seeing these young ones getting that exposure at that age, so that by the time they are mainly in Form 2, Form 3. So by the time they are going to the university, they think, okay, I can study maths at the university. Look at Dr. Angela, she did maths and she's doing this. Look at this person who did AI. And yes, so it's more of making them see us now there. They're choosing to do maths at the university. And because we're a postgraduate institute, by the time they get to that level, we will have top quality girls applying. And in the next 10 years, we want them to be the ones leading in research and innovation. So that's what I do full time. But I also have an organization, Femme Afrique Maths. When I was a PhD student, I was looking online for mentors who had blazed that trail. In my PhD class, I was the only female and the only Black, right? So it was quite challenging. You don't have people to discuss the maths with or maybe go out with. Yes, so it was quite challenging. And I looked around, you go for conferences, you don't meet Blacks, you don't meet, there's a lot of Blacks around you. So I thought to myself, okay, this is my situation. What about other younger girls and even maybe deprived parts of Africa, right? I only had one female maths teacher throughout my my journey until I went to do my PhD. It could be the same for another girl in, let's say, a village, not just in Ghana, but all across Africa. I wanted to use social media because I realized social media was very powerful to reach a wide audience. Anytime I meet these female African mathematicians, I was going to record their stories through an interview, use social media to share their stories so that a young girl who is good at maths somewhere, let's say in Kampala, will see my video and realize, okay, even though I don't see a female mathematician within my my environment, there's one I can see online and I can aspire to be. So we have a YouTube channel. We put all our videos online. And our vision is to see girls being confident to pursue careers in mathematics. And these women we interview, they studied maths, but they went on to do different things. So we've had people who had studied maths and became data scientists, artificial intelligence experts, information security. Because when I was growing up, people said if you study maths, you become a teacher, right? Yes, it's not bad. I teach, right? But there's more you can do with maths. Yes, so it's make sure these girls see these diversity so that they can choose to study maths. Yes, so that's mainly what I do.
Yeah, awesome and straight to the point. But I believe the journey is not that smooth. You know, going through day by day, month by month, year by year. I think roughly it's like a 10-year journey.
Yes, exactly. You got it right from bachelor's. From bachelor's to PhD, yes.
It's been an awesome 10-year journey. But of course, it's not. Maybe we can take a step back to, we understand that you did business in SHS, but you can mention where that was and where the journey, really the dream started from. Is it an influence from home? Maybe you're surrounded by, and that's what's building or has built that foundation and made it very easy, because it's a very interesting story, quite easy, but I don't think it was that easy. If you could take us back, maybe as far back as your primary school.
Okay, yes. So primary school. So I went to school in Ashaiman, right? So when you hear of Ashaiman, you know all the negatives that come with it, right? So I went to school, and for me, was more of getting the best out of my education because, like I said, all you saw around you were not positives, right? But I wanted to make that difference. I went to Anu Memorial School in Ashaiman. Then I went to Accra Girls Secondary School. One of my sisters, she was there, and I didn't want to be far from home. I wanted to be close to home so that my mom or family could visit. Yeah, so I was a business student at Accra Girls Secondary School, and for me it was more of, okay, my sisters were doing business, so let me just follow them, right?
You get free textbooks.
Yes, exactly, right. I did the same electives. But then people say science students were weird, right? I remember in our community, science students are strange. They're always carrying their big books, the gas books and all that. So, it wasn't attractive for me. It was a business that was attractive for me. So I went to secondary school. I did accounting, business management, and it was more following the line to become a chartered accountant.
Right.
But I was saying because my WASI, my course were not as good as my electives, I couldn't do my first choice at the university. So I studied mathematics and economics at the university. And for me, it was more of, okay, I'm good at maths. Let me just try it and see.
You didn't read elective math.
I did.
You did?
Yeah. So
I thought it was BM and elective math.
At school, it was weird. So
Yeah.
I did accounting, business management, elective math, and costing.
That's a lot, no? Because, well,
for electives,
yeah.
So that was what I did. So
Awesome. Good
with that,
combination,
yes, exactly.
Very
So with the
strong.
elective maths, even though I didn't do economics in secondary school,
Okay, so that was missing.
yes, exactly.
It was economics or
elective maths, exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
so that's it then.
Yes. So even though I didn't do economics, because of elective maths, I could do economics at the university. Because when you go high, like there's a lot of mathematics in it.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I went to the University of Ghana. It was more of, okay, I'm good at math. Let me just see where it goes. Had the opportunity to major in...
Not to interject. When you say I'm good at math, what does that mean?
Oh, okay.
What do you mean by that? So this is best graduating or first in the test?
Yeah, I got a first class in mathematics.
That's what we want to hear and celebrate.
Yeah, with a very strong GPA.
Awesome.
Yes, so I was good at it, but for me, I wasn't sure what I could do with maths.
Yeah.
Yes. So I remember in third year, the economics department chooses who majors and who combines, right? So I was chosen to major, and in the maths department, so I was chosen to major.
Hey.
Yeah, so I remember our head of department, Dr. McIntyre at the maths department, she called me, okay, Angela, I think you should major in mathematics.
This is Dr. Margaret?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, she was a very phenomenal
Yeah,
mentor. She's been one of my support systems on social path. Yeah, so she told me, okay, let's do maths. I said, what do I do with maths, right? That'll be your whole life. You just have maybe 2 colleagues in class, and you have all these big books to study. I wasn't really convinced I could do something outside teaching, right? So I said, okay, let me keep my options open. Let me combine mathematics with economics.
Awesome.
Yes, so I graduated with a combine in mathematics and economics. I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do, right? So I did my national service at the department. I stayed on for another year as a teaching assistant.
Okay.
Then AIMS had opened in Ghana. And one of my lecturers, Dr. Prince, he said, okay, Angela, you should apply to AIMS. I said, okay, 1 year doesn't spoil anything, right? So let me go and explore. So AIMS works this way. It brings the best students from all across Africa to one place, and our lecturers are from across the world. So we don't have a permanent faculty.
Okay.
So lecturers volunteer to teach a semester course in 3 weeks. Yes, exactly. Because that's that much time that they can get off their work. Yes. So I went to at the outskirts of town on a certain hill along the coast in Brewer, and it was more of, okay, you said you're a champion in Ghana, right? You go and you meet African champions, and you're supposed to study maths away from all distractions. And for me, it was more of discovering more and seeing where my interest would be. So we went and we did a lot of skills, because a maths graduate, very often you finish and it's just the theory, right? You don't know programming. So that was the first time I did Python programming. We did presentation skills, problem solving. Yes, we did all these skills, and we did some maths. So it was there that, okay, there was a course in algebra. When the lecturer came, AIMS, we lived there with our lecturers. It's 24-hour environment, so you can anytime. Yes. So I remember in the mornings when the lecturer is preparing, I'll just peep. I'll go and knock. Oh, okay, I didn't understand this in class. Can you go over it? So he gradually realized I was really interested, and it was time to do our dissertation. I did my dissertation with him. So he was this lecturer who told me about the PhD opportunity that I applied for. Right. Yes. So it was more after AIMS I realized, okay, I could do, right? But of course, it involved a lot of dedication. Yeah. So when I went to the PhD program, I realized, okay, in a PhD, you are supposed to discover something, right? But in maths, your fruits haven't been picked, right? But it's more of the dedication, right? So that's something that people think that because you are good at maths, it means that you just open a book and you understand everything. No, it's more about the determination. Because for the PhD, for instance, you start with, there's a broad project, right? And you have to break it into pieces. So you start from somewhere you gradually go on it. So it's more of, I remember when we started in the first year, it was more of coming over and over to it every week. You have solved the problem. You go and they poke holes in it and you have to
red
go.
marks.
Exactly, yeah, those ones, yeah, very depressing ones, yeah. So I think it was during the PhD that I realized, okay, it was very challenging, but I realized that I could make a difference with it because I'm interested in teaching. Teaching, and before you can teach at a university, you need a PhD, right? So if I want to teach at a university, then I needed a PhD. So that was when I realized, okay, the PhD was for me. Yes,
right.
so, yes.
No, awesome. So the AIMS session was for what was your dissertation on? Sorry.
Yeah, so I remember the title. It says Kaplansky's theorem on idempotence in group algebras. Yeah. Yeah, so in pure maths, it's more of you think this paper is blue, then you have to prove that it is blue. So the theorem is that this paper is blue. Then the theorem is that 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah. Then you have a series of arguments to prove it. Yeah. So it was more of
so he's Kaplansky.
Yeah, he's this genius mathematician who had come out with this theory that we had to. So usually in masters, you don't have to come out with something new. So it was more of filling in the spaces in the proof that he had. So that was what I did for my master's.
The topic again.
Kaplansky's theorem on idempotence in group algebras.
What?
Idempotence. So an idempotence is
tell us.
Okay. So think of 1. 1 times 1 is still 1. So it's a number a number that if you multiply by itself, it gives you the number itself.
That's idempotent.
Yes, idempotent. Yes, so it remains the same. Yes, exactly. Idempotent. Yes, okay. It remains the same even after you do it twice.
Okay, we're learning something, and that's why we're here.
Yes.
Idempotent.
Yes, exactly.
Kaplansky's theorem on idempotence
in group algebras.
In group algebra. So
yes.
that part. Yes. What goes into grouping algebra or group algebra?
Yes.
Don't mind me.
Yeah. So let's think of algebra in the sense that when you have numbers, you can multiply numbers, you can add them, you can scale them. If you have both addition and multiplication, it doesn't matter whether you do that. There's this distributivity, which means that if you have, let's say, 2 times, let's say 2 + 3 in a bracket, you can first add, yes, and open the bracket, or you can open the bracket and add.
What mass?
Exactly. So what we do at that level is more of building on the basic things. Yes, exactly.
I don't put.
Yeah. So it's, you see, when you do maths at a 10 higher from what we did, that's why everyone who did maths and primary school can become a mathematician. It's more of you having that interest and you having that creativity and that should I say, you have to be you have to persevere because it's not that easy doing that. Yeah. So that was my my master's dissertation. But I was talking about the addition and subtraction, right? Yeah. So I was working more with geometric. Yes, okay. Exactly, right. So if you think of the football, every point on a football looks the same because it's curved the same. There's no special point on the football, right? Because if I'm an ant and I'm on this side of the football, I can keep going, and I don't realize whether there's a pointed. Every point is the same. But if you think of the alpha symbol, yes, alpha, right? You see, there's the point where the 2 lines meet. Yes, exactly. So like that point, yes, exactly. That point is different. So we say it is that alpha symbol is given by some equation. Yes.
To draw it or to...
Yes, exactly. So it's given by some equation y² = x² + x³. Yes. Yeah, so the alpha symbol is, so if you draw your y-axis, so let's go back to,
please, let's
go back to, you remember in JHS, we did...
My chest will be roasting me right now.
You remember in JHS, we had these graphs that we used to, you have your y-axis and your x-axis, yes.
Ma'am.
So if you draw your y-axis and you want to plot y² = x² + x³. So for any why?
I'm trying to. Please go ahead. Don't mind.
So if I choose, let's say, so you choose the curve is just points.
Yes,
Which satisfy,
yeah.
yes. So
no one there understands. You plot it, and then you draw.
You draw it, exactly. Yes. So my PhD worked on curves which look like this. And
that look like the alpha form.
Yes, exactly. Okay. They have these special points.
Single. So
we call them, yes, which are singular. Singular means that they have these special, you remember I told you that for the alphabet, where the points meet.
Where the two strokes meet.
Yes, exactly.
It's a point.
Yes, okay. And it's different from every other point on it. Because, so let's say I've drawn my alpha symbol this way, yes. Right? So at this point, if I'm an ant and I get here, I can either go here, or go
there.
Here. Exactly. But if I'm at this point, I have only two options.
Right.
So that point is special.
It's okay.
Yes, it's special, and we call that a singular point. So my PhD focused on classifying curves like this in the plane, which satisfy this property, and if it did, we call it a quantum homogeneous space.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was what my PhD focused on. It was interesting. We started with this curve that I told you about, the alpha symbol, and we realized, okay, we could also look at the, the 8, infinity. Yeah. Exactly. So infinity is also given by an equation. It's given by y squared equal to x squared minus x to the power 4.
Okay.
Yes. So we realized that our theory also worked for the infinity symbol. We tried it for some other curves. We realized it worked. So we realized that there was a general theory that worked for curves of a certain form. And we were able to write a theorem. So I have a theorem.
Tabiri theorem.
Together with my supervisors.
I'm like, all these things because I read engineering, so I obviously did a bit of algebra and did a bit of calculus as well, and plotting and all of that. I mean, it's coming home to me, and they raise the power 4 and all of that, and trying to draw and plot all these guys, and then actually finding planes and what have you. But I mean, again and again, more and more of us go back to that place where you were. What would I do with this Kaplansky special point, quantum group algebra? What am I going to do with it?
Okay.
So tell us, how relatable are these theorems?
Okay. So I'll talk a bit about, so when I started my work at Ames Ghana, I was Ames Google AI postdoctoral fellow, which meant that I was teaching a course in mathematics for artificial intelligence. Yes, so I remember the first day I walked into class. So this was, we have a master's program at Ames in artificial intelligence, and they were wondering, okay, who is this mathematician who is going to teach us AI, right? But here is it, when you pick your phone, right, and you went to YouTube to watch a video, right? Now, the video you watch today, if you close your YouTube and you go back tomorrow, YouTube will suggest similar videos to you, right? How does it do this?
It's not magic.
Yes, exactly, right? So YouTube is through AI. So AI is how you just making machines intelligent like us, right? So the machine looks at your previous videos and you realize you like videos about food, right? So I'm going to suggest you how to more foods, right? Videos, yes, exactly, right? But all these algorithms are built on mathematics. Yeah. So I remember in the course I was teaching, there was something we call linear algebra. So think of vectors. We do vectors in secondary school, right, at the university. You realize, okay, what's vectors? You have to do some adding and all that. But as you go further, if you have data, so let's say these videos, you could have data points. Vectors are just containers in which you store data, right? So if I'm collecting data about people, let's say the first entry will be about, let's say your height, the second entry will be about your age and all that. So that is a vector. But what do we do with vectors? We can add or scale them, right? Yes. Yeah. So all these advanced things lead to what we call linear algebra. Now, if you look at very often data is, yes, even talking about calculus. Right, yes. So calculus, I remember when we do the divide dx, and you have to find the slope of things. Well, okay, what am I going to do with slope? But now let's think of real world data. So real world data, we call something the dimension. So think of dimension as, okay, if you are collecting attributes, how many attributes are you collecting, right? Now, real world data is usually in very high dimension. So think of dimension as the 2D, 3D, right? Your paper is 2-dimension, right? Because you can use two entries to represent it, right? But we are 3D figures. This is a 3D figure, right? 3D means 3 dimensions, right? But when you go to higher, you can't visualize 4D, right? You can't visualize, and they're higher data. Now, if you have a data set, you'd want to visualize it and see certain features of it. So you can have a data set in 100 dimensions. How do you bring it down to 3 dimensions for you to see, okay, this is the shape of the data, to tell you more features about it? That is when the calculus you did, the vectors you did comes in. Right. Yeah. So so these were things that I remember. I would go to class and okay, yes, let's bring our maths. So the maths that I was teaching was helping them. As artificial intelligence experts, they had to understand how your computer is thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you're asking your computer to do something, you don't understand the process with which your computer thinks, then you'll be either asking it to do the wrong thing, or you'll be thinking that it's giving you the wrong answer. Exactly.
Well, I think not until AI.
Yes.
But it will give you what you give it.
Exactly.
You know, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes, exactly.
Until now, we're trying to get it to have a mind of its own. Yeah.
Yes. So the maths that we did, like the divide dx, imagine if you are in a class and there's someone who is only interested in computers and you are just teaching them divide dx. It's important to show them that this divide dx you are using is going to help them if they want to become AI experts. Okay. Right? If they want to become engineers, so engineers, what do you do? It depends on the type of engineering that you do, right? Let's say if you are into construction, let's say civil engineering, okay, you are constructing this, okay. But even your angles, right? Your angles have to be accurate. You have to, all your calculations have to be accurate. Otherwise, the cost of it, if you build a bridge and you make a tiny mistake,
you're in trouble.
Yes, exactly, right here. So I think it's more of as teachers or as lecturers, we're giving motivation to students for the topics we teach, right? Because if I'm teaching a class, and you see at that young level, we have, in my class, for instance, let's say when I was young, there was a data scientist in my class, there was an engineer, there was an artist, there was an analyst, there were biochemists, all these people in class. So if you're a teacher and you want them to focus on your lesson, you have to make sure you give them a motivation for each of these, right? So today, we are doing algebraic expressions. Yeah, this is data science in it. This is biochemistry in it. So that, you see, once you know why something is, you get interested in learning. Exactly. But if you are just doing it for doing sake, then you just
lost in it.
Exactly.
Was it chew, pour, and pass
and forget?
And forget. No, but you haven't forgotten and are making use of it. So this is how your time at Ames and you teaching AI experts or students, the basic math that they will need. I had a personal experience in my field of work. I had to calculate leave days. Okay. And I find mode 5 is fun. I'm like, this is not wasteful.
Yeah, the statistics we did, right? The mode, the median.
I'm like, no, this is not wasteful. And this is actually, I learned from one of my junior colleagues. He explained to me that, no, I'm using mode to do calculate or cut off at 5, meaning 5 days, the 2 is not worth counting. So then we'll start the cycle. Like, yes,
it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. Yeah. So indeed, and we had this, we met with a robotics enthusiast, and he did say that how the teaching is delivered is very, very key. He started out, and then permit me to share. Okay. He didn't like what was happening. He actually dropped out of school and said, well, my interests are in computers, so I'm going to work in a cafe. And this is just a 13-year-old at the time, but he had a focus. He said, well, I'll do this. I'll come back and still do, my computing and all that. I mean, long story short, how delivery is done is very, very key. There are a plethora of potentials within the classes, and as early as possible, the teachers should know that whatever they're teaching, however abstract, they need to put in these examples so that they can quickly discover, grasp, and develop the interests and the passions.
Yes, exactly. So that brings me to Ames. We also have a master's for teachers, right? So I mentioned a girls program that we are trying to bridge that gap between because we have a very small percentage of girls reading maths when you go high. But also we talked about teachers, right? Who teaches maths in the basic school? Who teaches maths in secondary school? Very often they don't understand, some of them don't even understand what they are teaching, right? So we started this teachers program, so Masters for Teachers. And it's also mainly online because we know that the teachers are working, they are teaching, right? So
and it'll be expensive too.
Exactly. And our programs are all fully funded. Right?
Awesome.
Yes. So
that headache is
yes, that headache is, yes. So the teachers come in and we meet them after school. So 4 p.m. They go online. They also have their laptops. They join. And for me, it was interesting seeing. I remember. So I also teach in that program, and to see teachers who are passionate about making a change. Absolutely. Right? You'd have gone through math lessons without showing students, for instance, that instead of refocusing on, let's say, you using your hands to just draw things. Now we have apps and programs that you can use to draw, right? So if you are trying to solve a question and you don't understand it, maybe when you plot it, it becomes easy to. So there's GeoGebra, you can use it. There's programming, right? That's you can introduce the teachers to. Yes, so it's a new program. The first batch graduated just in June last year, and you could see these students who came in fresh with passion. Now they have graduated after 2 years. It's a 2 year because it's mainly online, 2 year program. And they are now going back to, most of them were in secondary schools. And you see that transformation there. If someone has come to class and seen that, oh, vectors can be applied in AI, the next time they have a lesson in class to teach vectors, they'll bring that example.
They will.
Exactly. And you see that, oh, okay, there's a child there, and the child will dream to become an AI expert, right? So it's more of we translating it from the theory through teachers to get to the grassroots, so that the students will see that maths is it's interesting and it's everywhere.
And it is everywhere. No, so 2 things. There's a master's program. Please go check it out. Then there's also some teachers. You're also not left out.
Yes.
There's also
Masters
for teachers.
Yes.
So double treat.
Yes, exactly. And there's also the girls program for secondary school girls across Ghana. Only girls. Yes, strictly for girls. Yeah.
Sorry, boys. No, but this is why we're here. And Dr. Tabiri indeed is a shining star and a wonderful example for all of us to share. Yes, we're sharing her. And we, as we have also heard from her, also go on and share the message. Let's take a quick respite, a quick message from our sponsors.
Today, the question is no longer, why do we have problems? But rather, how can we spin those challenges into opportunities? This is the revolutionary mindset we, students here at Academic City, are driven by. Academic City, we believe that the challenges of today are nothing like the opportunities of tomorrow. Hence, we're poised for the future. And so we say,
come join us.
Pakuli.
Biasanyani.
Kuyaiti Battalion.
Zafra Nadia.
Bien Wijman.
Brabe Kayam. I'm going to start Shamir Hojal.
As we lead the charge to empower the next generation of future leaders. Academic City University College, redefining university education.
Alande. Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Maybe at the day I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks to the check.
Join the ABSA family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. Log on to absa.com.gh. No long tail. We like 'em simple and easy.
Believe me, no long things in my life, like I'm simple and easy. Easy.
Whoever you're doing it for, we'll help you get it done. Simply. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Thank you so much. If you see me giggling, then you know there was a lot of conversation when we went away, but we will not leave you out of it. A few questions have come through, so please do add yours to it to keep the conversation going. The phone number to send your comments and questions to is 055-818-2870. 055-818-2870. We're still live on STEMFest GH and NSMQ on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. Do send your comments, send your questions, and we'll be back. Now, let me take the serious question, which is, this is a lady who is 30 years. She has a BSc in Math and Computer Science with a 2.1 GPA, from University of Ghana. So she says she did apply for the AIMS Ghana Scholarship and has attended the interview. Does she stand a chance? She wants to know if she stands a chance of making it into AIMS, please.
Okay. So you coming to AIMS is based on both your transcripts and the interview, right? So transcripts focuses on the courses you had done in your undergrad. Because AIMS is postgrad, you need some foundations, right? So if you've done those courses, then we see that, okay, you can...
If you can tell us what these courses are, so we don't waste our time. And know to make sure that we do very well in these courses as well. Yeah.
Okay. So because it's the mathematical sciences, we admit students from physics, from even in engineering, yes, from economics, from computer science, from statistics, right? But if all these courses at the university, they do general courses in your first or second year. So, for instance, at the University of Ghana, if you did statistics, talking about when I was there, you would have done calculus too. You would have done algebra and geometry, let's say linear algebra, because these are the foundations that when a master's level lecturer comes, the person assumes you know this, they are not going to go back to these. Yeah. So on your transcript, we check whether you've done these foundational courses. Now the interview comes in because yes, we all study at different universities with different infrastructure or different resources. So it's more of getting to hear you how you communicate, right? Because it's one thing writing maths and it's another also communicating verbally, and sometimes exams might not favor you, right? Yes. So the interview is to focus on your understanding, right? So you said you have done a course in let's say vectors. Tell me what can we do with vectors, can we? So it's more of trying to get you to the level of getting whether you understand. So it's not just because someone can get an A on paper, but the understanding is not there. Someone can get a B, but the understanding is there. Right. So this applicants, fingers crossed. Hopefully, you hear something positive from your interview.
No, awesome. We are with you. Apart from what you shared with us, you've also touched on FemAfrique Math and the interview. So you pretty much do this on YouTube from time to time, and this is what you do in your private time. You also have what? Smash?
Sorry?
Smash?
Smash? Is it a hashtag or?
No. Science Slam.
Oh, Science Slam. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you pronounce it together. Yeah. So.
I'm trying to be funny there.
Yeah, so I'm also a science communicator. I've realized that as scientists, when you think of a scientist, you think of this weird person, right, with crazy hair and no life.
Crazy hair.
Yeah, with no life, right? But you see, the science that we do, we need to demystify it for society. So my research is really abstract, and you saw how I explained it to you using football. Addition and subtraction, everyone can understand. Yes, so Science Slam is an event where researchers share their research to a general audience using things that they can relate to.
Right.
So I should be able to share my research so that my mom, who is watching can be able to understand. My family, my husband, my sisters, all my family, they can understand because they come from a business background, right, or chemistry background. Yeah. So it's more of getting researchers to share their research. And I remember, we host it every year at Ames Ghana, and it's interesting to see how people can use drama. You can use drama to tell your research. You can use poetry. And I even did a dance, yes. So I have a video on YouTube where I did a dance. So, yes. Yeah, so it's a science communication event where we demystify science to the general audience.
I'm interested in this dance.
Zaza, it's a very old song. Kokobeli had a song, Zaza.
So how did you do it?
You hop, hop, hop.
And that's what the... Is it a wave or?
No. It was more of focusing on the non-commutativity. So I did different dance. I did the hopping. Then I did what was this? I've forgotten. There's this. Is this shoki? So the order in which I did it, from the start to the end. If I reverse the styles from the end, would it be? Does it matter the order in which I did it?
Awesome. You see, yeah, maths is relatable.
Yeah, and it's fun, right?
Oh, what is well time. Well, we've been speaking about girls, we've been speaking about SHS level, and then now we have something for girls who are undergraduates, finishing their undergraduate studies, something for teachers, and of course, the Schlumberger postdoctoral fellowship that you can look for. What about below that, JHS and the primary school? Isn't anything special apart from maybe us watching the YouTube?
Yes, so I'll talk about two things. So for the GHS, we also have Alote Mass Camp at Ames. Yes. Prof. Alote, he was our founding president, a very great supporter of Ames. So we have a mass camp. So each year, so last a few months ago, we had secondary, not just senior secondary school GHS students coming to our center at Ames, and for 1 week it was math. So you wake up and you have puzzles on the wall that you have to...
This is a camp session?
Yes, exactly. So they come to live there. At that time, our master students had finished, so they come there. So we have puzzles, we have even workout sessions. So we have practical maths on the field. You're trying to make a knot, and we also have hands-on experiences for them. So if you're a junior high school students, you are not left out. And personally, I also volunteer usually together with other volunteers to teach maths in my community, because I realize that very often it's more of the patience and the dedication to certain students. Because if you are in a general class and a teacher is teaching and you have a challenge, it's hard for the teacher to go back, right? So we started this Yepemas project where every Sunday we'd go to a community school together with volunteers, and the school gave us the weak students in class so that we could bridge that gap. So each volunteer will go with one student. They were junior high school students. Yes, exactly, to make sure they prepare very well for BEC. And I was so happy to hear that when they wrote their BEC, the school saw improvement, yes, from the previous year. So, and now we are trying to make this also big. I've had people contact me that they want to become volunteers. And now you see things have gone virtual, right? So I could be a volunteer sitting in Accra, and I could have a GHS students somewhere far from me that I could connect with and teach. So there's definitely something in it for junior high schools. That's support. That's having someone to hold your hand. That's okay. This do ideas. This how, even using local language to explain to you. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So there's something in it for everyone.
I know we've done a lot about the career. We touched on a bit of the prospects and how really math is indeed all around us, and how we can demystify all of the, I don't want to say fanciful thoughts, assumptions that we have around it. We can use dance.
Yeah.
We can absolutely use dance to explain the theorem, quantum, and what have you. I really like the other one, idiopotent.
Idempotent.
Idempotent. Thank you. It's my takeaway from that day. Idempotent. Yes. So, I mean, all of this, and very exciting journey again. Sharing, also giving us a bit of insight into your background and all of that. But is there a moment where you wanted to stop and I will not do this again, and so I will do this? What would this be?
Okay. So that was the moment after AIMS when I was at ICTP. So I mentioned that very often you're a top student, you finish top of your class, valedictorian, but you go to a place where you're not the top, right? You have to learn a lot of things at very short, at a very fast pace, right? Yeah. And I was really struggling. So I remember, and it was a new country, new language. So I remember I would go to my room and I would cry and I would ask myself, I said I like maths, but is this really it?
This is Italy.
Yes, when I was in Italy, yes, yes. So I wasn't understanding the maths that was being taught. You have to write exams, and so I asked myself, okay, yeah, maybe it's not it. That's not it for me.
Road, eh?
Yes. So I remember I prayed to God, and I said, okay, when I applied for this Schlumberger Foundation Faculty for the Future, I told him that it's either if you want me to really do maths, let me get this funding. Otherwise, I'll quit. I didn't know what I would have done. I would have gone into fashion design.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes, exactly. Right. So I came to that point, and you see, and for me, my take home from that was that you go to a place, and right, you are not always going to be the best everywhere. At that ICTP was more to learn, right? To learn a lot of maths, so that my foundation for my PhD will be strong. Because I came from a maths econs background, I had not done a lot of maths electives, and those electives were the ones I was doing at ICTP, and they assume you'd have done it
already.
Exactly. So they teach it at a very fast pace.
Oh dear.
Right. So for me, it was more of the learning. And now my professors, I remember on LinkedIn, they see me and they are really, yes, exactly. Because of course, I didn't finish on top, right? But they've seen how I've grown through the process. Yes. So I would say that, yes, me was what encouraged me is that at each point, know what you are picking from things. You are not always going to be the best, right? Know that this time is for me to learn, right? The next time I'm shining, right? So yeah, just keep going strong during those very down moments.
We are keeping strong, and we'll continue to keep strong. We will be ending our sessions tomorrow or too soon. It's been wonderful these past 14 days, and we are privileged. Thank you so much, Doc, for passing through and sharing this wonderful story. Zanzan, mathematics with us.
Thanks for having me.
But please join us on the 22nd to the 24th of September at the Academic City, having the Sci-Tech Innovation Challenge. I already mentioned the schools, 10 of them, showcasing very, very wonderful projects around recycling. Come and let's support our schools, and promises to be exciting. We'll be here tomorrow, another special session. We're still on Facebook, so go over the sessions, the episodes that we've had, even from last year until today, and learn as much as you can. Every step is a learning curve. Failure is just a redirection. Have a good evening.
Today, the question is no longer, why do we have problems? But rather, how can we spin those challenges? This is the revolutionary mindset we, students here at Academic City, are driven by. Academic City, we believe that the challenges of today are nothing like the opportunities of tomorrow. Hence, we're poised for the future. And so we say,
come join us.
Pakuli. Oyaye Battalion.
Zafula Nadia.
Viens nous rejoindre.
Brabe Kayan. Ao, Amarasat Shame Hojao.
As we lead the charge to empower the next generation of future leaders. Academic City University College, redefining university education.